I'm going to start in just a second. Yes, StreamYards is stupid. I don't know why it won't let you just start back where you left off. I'm going to start in just a second. Yes, StreamYards is stupid. I just got to reshare the link now. Okay, guys, hopefully you guys can hear me right now. Gonna mute some things. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It's the live action figure call-in talk show. I'm gonna have to start because I got somebody calling in first. Before we post the number, don't post the number yet. If my monitors are there, we can get a few more people here. And I got a special guest calling in a few minutes now. So give that a few minutes, and hopefully we'll be able to get through this. Everything's going good. I just don't. Oh, Streamlabs drives me crazy, and this Mac I got, all the computers I can find that are Mac are 8 gigs of RAM, and live streams eat up that RAM. I got to go Windows, I guess. I don't really want to go Windows. I just don't like the layout. I just don't like the layout of Windows too much. Justin says he can hear us. Okay, sounds good, and hopefully we'll get the calls going in just a few minutes. Hey, it's Junkman. It's Junkman. I think Larry posted a video today. I hadn't watched it yet, so I might want to check that out. Haven't watched it myself yet, but yeah. What's the phone? I will post the phone number in a few minutes. We got a special caller calling in just a few minutes. We're going to go to him first. He's supposed to call in at 8:15, so about 2 more minutes. So Larry shot off. Ooh, that sounds gross. Now hopefully we got everything right. Okay, but we got some people in the room. Only 13 people. Come on, where is everybody? If you're over in the Raw Feed channel, you won't be able to hear the phone calls, so go to the live stream. Now let me put on Facebook the new. Oh, Bruce, you never in the live. Let me tell Bruce to come on in. He ain't there. Screw with old Bruce a little bit here. Okay, I'm stalling a little bit because I got a caller coming on at 15 after. So let me go ahead and get my plug. Okay, this is for the podcast. I edit all this boring stuff out during the podcast. But what's up, says Rick. Nothing too much. We're going to take some phone calls. We're going to talk 90s today. So 90s toys. What's your favorite? What do you hate of the 90s toys? What do you love? What do you hate? And all that stuff for the 90s. So it should be a lot of fun. And hopefully we'll have a call coming in just a second. I haven't posted the number yet. Like I said, I've got a guy named Blake Wright's about to call in here and have a little talk with the Junkman. Should be a lot of fun. Only about 10 minutes. It's not an ad. Don't worry. The guy didn't pay me to come on or anything. Oh, going to be a great live. But we'll talk to Blake for about 10 minutes, and then we'll move on, to the others. But yeah, we want to hear about the best toys of the 90s. What got you back into action collecting, maybe in the 90s, maybe in the kids you grew out of in the 80s and 90s, you came back to action figures. Want to know the worst, the best, the worst, and all that is what I hate wearing these things, but I got to hear when the phone rings. I can't believe I missed out on a whole Justice League. And the Justice League was a good line, and there's a lot of comic book lines in the 90s. I tell you that if you were into comic books, the 90s was your time to go. Okay, here we go. Here's Blake calling right now. So we're going to put the ad on real quick, and I'll be right back. Have you ever wanted to dress like the Junkman? Well, you can at junkmanmerch.com. We got shirts. Hey, Blake, are you there? Yes, let me just make sure the room can hear you real quick here. Say something for me. Oh, never mind. I know why you're not working. Hold on just a second. We always had difficulty on the first call. I don't know why that is. But hold on just 1 second. Say something now.
Good evening, everybody. This is Blake Wright calling in
Okay.
from Houston, Texas.
Okay, let me check the chat and see if they can hear you. I think they can. So if anybody in the chat can let me know if you can hear Blake and me, if you can hear us both, let me know. Can you hear us? It's problem. The phone calls are fun to do, but it is have a lot of technical issues. So let me ask the chat. Come on, somebody answer me in the chat. Loud and clear. Okay, everybody says they can hear us. Okay, Blake, before we get started, man, I feel a little embarrassed because we've talked before and I didn't even realize it till like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, I didn't realize you're the same guy that wrote the book on unreleased toys.
I wrote 3 books on unreleased toys.
That's right.
But yeah, that's me.
I was Googling to get a picture of your catalog, and I was like, wait, that's the same Blake. So them are pretty cool books. I love anybody watching my video know I love unreleased toys. I love talking about them. So it's cool you can find 3 volumes worth of that.
Yeah, that was about a 6-7 year endeavor of my life, was putting those books together. And volume 3 is actually going to be on a boat heading this way sometime next month, hopefully.
Sounds good. Okay, so you think there's another volume after that?
Well, no, I'm shifting all my power towards this next project, which we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Yeah, so let me throw a picture up for the people that's in the live. Hold on, just had it ready to go. Yes, we're going to talk about the Toy Collector. I know I'm going to butcher the name because they don't have an O in it. But
It's just toy collector.
you still okay? I'm like, is that collector or collector? I was trying to figure that out myself. But you're stepping back into the realm of magazines, newsstand magazines.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna be honest. When I first heard about this, and some other people, they said this guy crazy. Magazines are dead. So why do you think there's a need for magazines nowadays?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where, I've been going to Barnes and Noble or whatever, looking for, reading material for the past decade, and there's not been a toy magazine for me. I can come up with, half a dozen titles on marijuana. I can come up with, 3 magazines on quilting, a handful of magazines on model trains, model planes, some die-cast cars even, but not one focused on the general collector. We lost that when we lost, Toy Fair, Lee's, and Tomarts. And, there's been so much happening in the past decade in the collector space. There are more collectors now than there were then. There's more little independent retro toy shops now than there were then. It just seems like the time is right to reintroduce something like this. And so I'm going to put a little money behind it to see if I'm not right.
Well, I'm excited for it because I don't buy magazines anymore, but I do miss. I used to go to my local comic book store in the 90s. Every Thursday, everybody be lined up for comics. I would get, Tomars and Action Figure Digest, sometimes Toy Fair. I wasn't a huge fan like most people. Most people love it, but I really love those. But are you going to have news? Because I know it's kind of hard to keep up with the news being with the internet. The news is so, fast out there, but magazines probably going to take a little harder. So is it more just reviews or articles, or are you going to focus on new stuff also?
Yeah, so the plan is to use up just about all the goodwill I have inside the toy industry, which is a little bit, to be able to negotiate some exclusive reveals for the magazine, as well as, when we have typical news, when something gets released, a third wave of this or a new license introduced, we'll talk about that, but we'll do it in a way that, goes a little beyond the press release announcement. We'll pick up the phone, make the extra phone call, talk to the people about, what they're willing to, say beyond, what the press release might say. And you'd be surprised, I've been a journalist for almost 30 years, and there's always more to the story than they're going to tell you initially. And sometimes they're willing to, to go ahead and get chatty and give some of those future plans up. Beyond that, we're going to do a lot of deep dive stuff. if you've seen my books, you know that, I tie in a lot of interesting stories to some of these lost toy lines, and we basically want to take that energy and now transfer it to, the toy lines that we're all familiar with from the 80s, 90s, aughts, and all the way up to today.
Okay, so you're gonna focus on not just you'll have stuff about the vintage fans and the newer fans. You're gonna cover everything.
Yeah, we're going to do it. The plan is to be, at least initially, about a 50-50 split between vintage and new. I think that will probably start leaning more towards vintage toys as I start feeling out what the audience really wants to read.
I got you. Yeah, that's good to have it about 50-50. So is this gonna be monthly, bi-monthly, 6 months? What's the plan?
Yeah, it's a bi-monthly, so there'll be 6 issues a year. I basically, that's a good starting point. One day, could it possibly go to monthly? Maybe, but just to be safe, on the safe side, and to be able to maintain my day job, it needs to be bi-monthly to start.
I got you. Until you get rich off of it, right? You can quit
Yeah,
that day
yeah,
job.
yeah. I don't see anybody getting rich off of it, but I wouldn't mind, it being a full-time gig for sure.
Yeah. Now I know it's hard. A lot of people don't buy magazines, but there's another problem. There's not many places to buy magazines anymore. So are these going to be easy to find at retail, or is best to get a subscription to it? What's the best way for
Well,
someone to get their hands on it?
yeah, we're starting we're starting off with subscribe, a direct subscribe model. So right now you can go to toycollector.com and click on a link that will take you to a page to subscribe to the magazine. But we're also we're talks with Diamond about distributing direct comic shops, which I believe we'll be able to get that done. And I'm also speaking with at least 2 general distribution houses about, getting it to stores like Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, that sort of thing. That might not happen right away, but I'm hopeful that the Diamond thing will be able to make that happen. So when we do launch, or shortly thereafter, if not the first issue, then hopefully the second issue will be available through previews.
Okay, Diamond would be great to have it in comic book stores. I mean, it'd help you have it in Barnes and Noble and stuff also. But comic book stores is probably where your best target audience is to pick them up.
Yeah, and it's going to help for not only domestic but international folks. I mean, Diamond has a reach overseas as well. It'd be great to be able to have some sort of retail distribution in Europe or Australia or Japan or what have you.
So, are there any plans to have this also digitally? Maybe comic books and everything's now digital also, or is it going to strictly be just magazine, or will you be able to download like a PDF file of it?
Initially, we're going to stick with just being print. We're going to see how that goes. I'm actually curious about that. Eventually, could it have a PDF, a complimentary PDF product as well? Yeah, it could. But when you start dealing with things like that, you start dealing with people just sharing PDFs and not subscribing to your magazine. So there's a line to walk there, and we don't. I don't really know the best answer to trying to prevent some of that as we work through some of the early issues.
Right. Okay. Another thing I have to ask, because when it does come to magazines now, I'll pick them up and 60% of it will be ads. So I'm sure you're going to have some ads in it. I mean, you have to get some of your money back in the investment, but you're not going to slap ads on every page, are you?
There will be advertising. We're going to try to keep it less than 30% of the magazine. So, when I say, like people have been asking me how long, how big is the magazine going to be? Well, we're looking at least having 60 pages of toy content per issue. So that is of content. So any ads would be in addition to that. So, it would be more of like a 72-page magazine with 60 pages of toy content or somewhere along those lines. But yeah, I mean, in order to make this fly, it has to be both subscription and ad-based revenue. You can't do one or the other.
Yeah,
it wouldn't
you have to. And I'm guessing it's going to be color, right?
It is. It will be color.
Okay. And you've got other people helping you with this? Will there be other people writing articles, or would it be maybe just mostly you
for sure.
to start
with? For sure. We've got some people that, some folks on the internet will have heard of who have agreed to contribute. People like Mark Bellamo, who you may know from being on the Toys That Made Us show with the Nacelle Group. We also have Pixel Dan has agreed to do some stuff for us. Dan Larson from Toy Galaxy is going to do some stuff for us as well. Other folks, let me see, Gus Lopez, who's a fairly well-known Star Wars collector from the Pacific Northwest. He's agreed to do some stuff for us. So yeah, we've got a team that I think will, people will recognize and they all have some experience writing, and it's going to kind of be like a movable feast. I think we'll rotate people in and out over the course of the 6 issues per year.
Okay, I had someone asked do you think you'll ever come a time where you think somebody can submit an article to you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've already got an email address set up for people to send queries and pitches to, and that's just hello@toycollector.com.
Okay.
So if anybody out there wants to has any ideas or wants to show us for a toy photographer who wants to share his portfolio or something like that, because we're going to try to get some really interesting photography worked into the magazine as well. I think that'll be one of the things that can help differentiate us from the web.
Yeah, the web's good, but it's always the same, the same pictures that Hasbro or somebody's put out there, the same information, the same press release. So it'd be good if maybe you could, get your own photos and everything. I think that would really help it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going through social media nowadays to either get the news out there or disseminate the news themselves. So it's kind of a very, it's a temporary way to do things, because, if I'm a toy company and I put out something, I don't have any control over who sees it. I don't know, if I'm really reaching the audience I need to. I think bringing back a toy magazine, something tactile and print, will at least give, the companies the comfort to know that the people who are looking at that are interested in their product.
Yeah, right. Okay, so what's the best way for somebody that wants to get, on the subscription now, or wants to make sure they get this first issue? Where should they go?
Yeah, to subscribe, to go ahead and lock that down, you can go to toycollector.com. There's a link to the subscription page on that page, or just follow us on social media as time draws nearer to September, which is going to be the first issue. We'll have updates on whether or not you'll be able to find it at your local comic book shop, or even if you want to wait and see what the first one looks like beforehand. Hopefully we will print some overage in order to sell the single issues direct after they get delivered to subscribers.
Okay, sounds good. Do you know anything about a price on these yet?
Yeah, so the subscription is $69 in the U.S. So that's a little over $10 an issue. Single issues will be $14.99 when we put them up for sale. We are doing Canadian and other international subscriptions right now. Those are a little higher, mainly just because of the postage.
No, that's good.
But yeah.
Well, when one's ready, maybe we can have one. Maybe we can give one away. That might be draw some attention and help you get out. Because I really hope this magazine does well for you. Because it'd be great to have a magazine again.
Yeah, and I think that's been the sentiment across the board. Everybody would, a lot of people I've talked with, the most skepticism I get is I just don't think this will fly in today's world. But at the same breath, they'll say, but I'd really like to see it try,
Yeah.
So I think a lot of folks, I think the time is just right for the return of a print magazine to cover things that collectors want to learn about.
Yeah, there's really no good in-depth articles anymore. It's one thing I do on my YouTube channel, try to go back into the history, and you do with your unreleased books. So it's good to have somewhere, a magazine that will really dig into some of that history and maybe talk to some insiders. Hopefully you'll get to talk to some insiders, some toy designers, and some of the people, at the toy companies.
Right. Yeah, so some of the features that we're going to be doing, we're going to be talking with, sculptors and ex and current executives at toy companies, that sort of thing. When you walk down a toy aisle today, it almost feels like you're in 1987 or something. You've got all these repurposed lines. He-Man's back, and Transformers, well, they never really went anywhere, but they're still here, and Star Wars is here, and Ghostbusters is back, and Gargoyles is back, and so you can draw a line between what's happening now and take it all the way back to what was happening then, and you can do a really compelling feature on, say, Silverhawks, and you lead on what Super 7 is planning to do and is doing, and go all the way back and talk to the Kenner folks about what they did and how their time on the project on the property was. So that's the kind of thing that we're going to aim to do as some of our larger features, is kind of draw these timelines in between properties that have been resurrected today back to their origins. And we think that'll be a very interesting read for some folks.
Yes, and I'm sure there's a whole generation of toy collectors out there that don't even know about magazines. They wasn't there in the 90s and early 2000s when the magazines were so popular. So it'd be something good for them. Do you have a target frame on when that first issue might be ready?
Yeah, so the first issue will be dated September, October of this year. So basically I'll be wrapping up my end of it sometime in early August, in order to get it to the printer and disseminated for like around the first week of September. So that is the plan currently. I don't see that changing any.
Okay, well that's good. Well, I'm not gonna keep you. I know we're gonna get to the other phone calls. We're gonna talk 90 toys, but again, collector. What's the website? Collector.com. Toy collector.
Toycollector.com without the final O.
Yeah, without the.
So toycollector.com.
Without the final. Do you have Twitter? Because I looked for you on Twitter to start with, and I saw Instagram and I saw Facebook.
Yeah, Twitter is Toy Collector, spelled like that, but add mag to the end of it. MAG.
Okay.
So Toy Collector mag.
Okay, we'll add that. Well, hopefully you'll keep in touch when it gets closer, or if you need me to help, get any more word out there. Maybe, like I said, we can give away a copy when one's ready.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That is an interview. I know, a call-in talk show, but I thought you guys would enjoy that. Toy Collector Magazine. Oh, hit the wrong button. Toy Collector Magazine. What? Magazines are back. Oh, anyway, the phone number to call into the show now is 470-541-2423. Again, if you're over there on the raw feed, you can't hear the phone call, so get over to the main channel. We'll do the main live. And if one of my monitors can put the number in the chat for me, the chat is, well, we got a call right here, so let's just jump right into the call here.
Call from
We're gonna...
Joe.
This is Junkman. Thanks for calling into the Junk Room. Who is this?
Hello?
Hello, this is the Junkman. Who is this?
It's Crazy Joe.
Crazy Joe. Man, I didn't even see you in the chat. What's up, Crazy Joe?
How's it going? I didn't know that was. I thought I had your machine or your voicemail because I'm watching you live and there's a lag.
Yeah, there's a lag, and then there's a when you call the number, it wants your voice. I don't know why. So, but that is me. It is me.
All right. So you're talking 90s toys today, huh?
Well, yeah, but a lot of times we don't stay on topic. So if you got anything else you want to talk about, or just call to plug your podcast or whatever, go ahead.
Well, it's the Mega Podtastic podcast, wherever podcasts are downloaded. But yeah, no, I gotta say, during the 90s, I kind of look at personally, I look at the 90s almost as like a dark era for action figures because I don't know, I don't think they were very good in the 90s. Like the number one thing I collected was the Star Trek, the Playmate Star Trek, and they were great in that you got all the characters. But if we're being honest, they weren't really that well sculpted. Like, I mean, you got that stupid Riker with his short shirt torn and
Your stupid hand.
yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Then you got the overly muscular Star Wars figures. Batman, you can get a million different costumes of Batman, but you couldn't get any villains. I don't know. It was like, I feel like the 80s were better, and then the 90s kind of just turned into like, I don't know. For me, that wasn't my favorite era of toys.
I love those Star Trek figures. I ain't gonna lie, I love those Star Trek. But there's, I did a video where I talked about how 90s ain't vintage, even if they're old, because 90s is more aimed to collectors. That's when the collector market boom started. So that's why I see a little really cutoff period after the 80s. Because you're right. Even Star Trek was aimed. I don't know. I'm sure some kids play with Star Trek figures, but I bet they sold majority or a lot of them to collectors. I mean, they even had the foot numbers and everything to draw collectors in. It was just a whole different market in the 90s.
Yeah, it was good though that they made so many characters. I mean, they had a wide selection of who you could get from all the different series, even obscure characters. And at the time, I don't think that was the trend in action figures because, like I said, like you look at Batman. Batman was huge, and the toy line was just 20 million variations of Batman, and then like each line maybe you'd get one villain.
Right. Yeah. I did a video where I did Playmate figures that they should have made from Star Trek, and it was hard to come up because they would just be like one character from one episode, and they would make a figure to it. They even made a Dr. Polanski. Who was screaming for a Dr. Polanski?
Yeah, I used to have that Dr. Pulaski on my desk at work.
Man, you're the only Dr. Pulaski. You bought my shirt.
Yeah, but no, I don't like Dr. Pulaski. That's the thing. I think it's funny. Like,
she's the Jar Jar Binks of the next generation.
She was basically a Dr. McCoy ripoff. It was like, oh, well, we're going to bring in the cranky doctor, and we're going to create the feud with Data. We're going to try to get like McCoy and Spock fighting. Didn't work. But
no, she didn't fit in at all. I mean, nothing against the actress and everything. She just did not fit in the Star Trek.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's my toy line from the 90s. In fact, I'm looking at them all. They're sitting on my shelf in front of me.
Oh, really? I got a lot of them loose. I think I've lost some of it since then, but I always think I'm gonna go back and collect those. I mean, they're so cheap now. But I don't got.
I got a few still carded. I opened them all up back in the day, but now they're so cheap. They're not. It's not an expensive toy line to collect. So I'll find them on the card now, and they're only like $5. So I got a couple. Well, one of the weirdest I got is Harry Mudd. It's Harry Mudd from the original Star Trek. It's Roger C. Carmel.
Right. Yeah. I
But
remember that one.
but I got it autographed by Rainn Wilson. 'Cause
Really?
He played Harry Mudd on Discovery.
Yeah, I knew he came back and played. That's odd. It's the first time. Okay. Well, I guess there wasn't no
Yeah,
figure of him to get signed, so you take the best you can get.
Yeah, he thought it was hilarious. He said it's the first time anyone ever asked him to sign one. So.
I bet so. I bet. Where'd you see him at a convention?
Well, I mailed it in. He was doing during the pandemic. They were doing like mail in
Really?
autographs and yeah,
That's
which
pretty
normally I don't do. I figure if I'm going to get an autograph, I want to meet someone. But
cool.
I
Yeah,
don't
still,
know.
that's
With
pretty
the
cool.
pandemic, we were bored.
Yeah, I've done it, but I've got a few autographs like that. So. Okay,
Yeah.
well, Joe, anything else you want to add to the '90s?
No, not really. I just I'll say all my '90s Star Wars figures, the Power of the Force, the overly muscular Lukes and everything. They're now my daughter's figures. She plays with them now. So
Yeah, they went to my
They're
son
still getting
and
their
now they're in
use.
a box.
yeah,
They were fun to collect back then, but yeah, they weren't the best looking Star Wars figures, that's for sure.
well, it was just exciting to see Star Wars again.
Yeah.
Because it's been so long. So.
Yeah, you would have bought anything. It didn't matter how they look. I mean, I bought the Bendums, so I would have bought anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But okay,
Well-
well, I want to thank you for calling, and everybody check out his podcast, Mega Podtastic.
Mega Podtastic. Yeah,
Yeah, great.
come on over.
Yeah, and I'll have to come back on your live stream. I haven't done anybody's live stream in a while, so we need to do something else again.
Well, you have a good night. I'll keep watching.
Okay, thanks.
All right, bye.
Bye. There we go. Oh shit, we got another call already, and thank you, John, for letting me know about the link. But I can't really fix it right now. I need to stand. Where's Larry? This is the Junk Man. Thanks for calling in the Junk Room. Who is this?
Blake!
Blake. Blake. Hey, we had a Blake at the top of the call. We got another Blake. We didn't hear from Blake last week, and the week before I was in Vegas, and we didn't do the show, so I hadn't heard from Blake in a while. What's up, Blake?
What's up?
Nothing much. We're talking the '90s, and to you, the '90s is a really long time ago.
I mean, it's kind of a while ago.
It seems like 2 weeks ago to me.
If it seems like it was like 80 years ago.
Yeah,
That sounds really old.
Yeah, you think we probably rode dinosaurs to the toy store.
Yeah, probably.
Yep, so I don't know if you have any 90s memories or any 90s toys to talk about, although you probably seen some Jurassic Park toys in your time.
Well, so the Star Wars Power of the Force.
Yes.
So they were like my first figurines of Star Wars figures because they were so cheap and easy to find. I liked like Dash Rendar's ship, from the
Yes.
Shadow of the Empire game.
Yes, I had that,
That one,
ship.
I like
love
that ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite ships from the Power of the Force.
Yes, and it was one
But
of
I just don't like the figurines. Like, they're way too bulky. And which then, like, Luke is over here with, like, a six-pack. And
Yeah.
things, even though he's skinny and scrawny in the movies.
they look like wrestlers, like they're part of the WWE or something. Just don't look right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but luckily they cut them down after a few years. But yeah, I remember Lando was really muscle. Lando has some big muscles. They all had big muscles. Even Princess Leia.
Princess Leia looked like a monkey.
Yeah, I've heard people call it the monkey face Leia, and it was a bad looking Leia.
Yeah, she was a really bad-looking Leia. But, like, because the price and all of them and how easy they were to find was amazing for me whenever, a while ago. Whenever I first started getting into Star Wars, that's some of the first ones besides, the micro dude, I can't remember what they're called.
Yes, the Galoo micro machines.
No, not the micro. They're like, you have the 3 3/4 and you size them down by like a bunch and they're like really small.
Micro collection, maybe.
Galactic Heroes.
Galactic. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. They were kind of, they wasn't metal. They were kind of like a, I don't know, rubber or something. Yeah, I like those. They were more kiddie.
Those were my first ever Star Wars figurines.
Oh, really? They made some really cool ones. They had a magnet in the hand. Man, I need to do a video on those. I forgot about those. They have a magnet in the head so they could do the force push. Had a Falcon. Had some prequel stuff. Yeah, that was a good little line. I forgot about that line.
Yeah, I have a big collection of them.
Really? Okay. I remember I bought them for I bought them for my daughter. She was little at the time and bought some. I think they did an Indiana Jones line, and I got them for. She didn't really care. I was just buying them so I could have an excuse to buy them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got anything else?
No, I just really don't like the way the Power of the Force figurines were made.
Don't worry, most of us didn't, but hey, it was the first time we had Star Wars toys in 10 years, and we didn't. We were like, we don't care. We're gonna buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least you didn't have the Star Wars Bend-ems. Do you know where they are?
Oh, yeah. I've seen those before.
Yeah, they're not fun to play with. They don't look good. Luke looks like he's melting. No, you don't want them.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for calling in, Blake.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll talk again.
All right. See you.
That is Blake right there. 470-541-2423. If someone, I don't know if any of my monitors on, I don't see them, but if someone can throw that up in the chat, I appreciate it. 470-541-2423. There we go right there. And we'll take another call. Got some good calls coming in. We got another call coming in right now. We're going to take this call. I can't believe it's time to take another phone call. This is the Junk Man. Thanks for calling the Junk Room. Who is this? You are on live. Junk Man, who is this? Who is this? The weed in your garden. I think I've seen your name pop up. Where are you calling from? Ow, I was going to go check my weed in my garden to make sure you didn't get anything. So what's on your mind tonight? No. Okay, I appreciate. Well, some of them older videos, don't judge me. You know, I'm in a closet in some of them, and so. Hold on, somebody says they can't hear you. Hold on, just a second. Why can you not hear him? It says it's. Say something.
Hello. Can you hear me?
How about now? Hold on. Can you hear him now? Let's get the chat. That's odd. It says it's working on my end. Hold on. We're going to just. That was a good conversation there. That's the problem with doing the phone calls, but let's see here.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, just a second. Let's see if anybody will answer. No, almost at my. All good now. Okay. So I don't know what they missed.
I was trying to watch the video feed, I think, at the same time. Maybe that was it.
No, I had something muted probably, but yeah, don't watch the feed. It's a little off, so it throws you off. But you were just praising how you watch my old videos, and I was saying that don't judge my old ones while I'm in the closet or I'm in the attic. Or I got better, I hope.
I think you got more professional. But I just get a kick out of watching, seeing the old stuff because I never even heard of you before, and then I keep looking through your stuff, and man, you've been on for years.
Yes, probably about 2016. Well, started around 16, but then I started really getting into it. It's 2018. It's been a slow ride, but it's picking up, so that's good.
That's awesome. Good for you. I like it. And I'll let somebody else call. Just want to say, hey, love your stuff, and keep on trucking, Junk Man.
Okay, well, thanks. Call back anytime. That is a collar right there. Sorry about the little hiccup there. We can get through this one time without a mess up. No. If you're over on the Raw Feed channel, go to that Junkman Live channel. That way you can hear the calls. I'm going to stop doing both, probably next couple of weeks, but just wanted to throw the 470. Oh, never mind. There we go. We got a call right now. We've got another call right now. This is the Junkman. Who's calling into the junk room?
This is T.S. Hawkeye.
T.S. Hawkeye. Not from MASH. That was somebody else Hawkeye. I forgot his name now. So what's...
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good. I get that all the time. I get the TS. I'm asked if I'm somebody transgender. I get transsexual, but it was a site that I was on. It was called Toy Soup, and I was a mod there. So it's always been T.S. Hawkeye.
So you're not a transsexual Hawkeye from MASH.
Oh, want to know what? I never even thought of that.
That's very funny. Or I guess the Marvel Hawkeye you could be. But,
no, it's more the Marvel Hawkeye. Favorite character.
Yes, I figured that. So what's on your mind tonight?
Junkman, my favorite toys from the 90s.
Yes.
Is I was still collecting G.I. Joe. I was still, and then the Toy Biz Marvel stuff came up. It's with the limited articulation before Marvel Legends. I bought all that. It's I had a few Star Trek figures. It's but the Star Wars stuff was always so hard to find in my area. And I know you made a video about Wizard Magazine. And that's all we could get in Nova Scotia. So it was always priced so high, and everybody was speculating and buying. And
well, gee, you couldn't get figures at the store. You couldn't find Star Wars figures or magazines, man. That's 90s. I'm not coming up there.
I want to know what? It's better now, brother. You come up here. It's sleep on my couch. We'll go toy hunting. You won't buy anything. It's all good.
That's probably true right there. I probably won't buy anything. But what was your favorite line?
Although at the local comic store, the Star Wars, the vintage stuff,
Ooh.
the vintage figures are like $5.
Okay, now that I would blow my whole money on.
I'll tell you what. I'll take a picture. I'll send it to you. What do you need there? It's cost plus shipping.
Mostly just has to see something. I'm like, okay, I want it. I'm not really looking. It says some from pieces, but yeah, I don't have anything. I always like to see what's out there. If I say, hey, it just puts a spark in me when I see it.
I appreciate that. I'm the same way. It's even if I don't know what it's from, and it looks decent, I'll buy it.
Right. So, what's your favorite toy lines of the '90s?
Oh, it's got to be G.I. Joe, buddy.
That's right.
It's. I had every figure. It's my favorite subgroup too. Was they had the Drug Enforcement Agency. I thought that was so cool at the time. It's. I've actually customized the entire thing.
Oh, that's cool.
There were 4 Joe figures. There were a couple of bad guys. I customized the main bad guys, the troop builders. I've got 5 of them now. It's my only hobby, buddy. I like to drink beer, smoke a little bit of puff, and that's it.
Well, you gotta.
50-year-old wife will. I'm sorry?
I said, as long as you have a hobby, you gotta have something.
Oh yeah, buddy. It's no, I got it. I've got to email you again. I customized a Junkman. So
yeah, I got to see that.
The five POA. You know what I mean? It's put it up there. You can be kissing Boba Fett or slapping Darth Vader. It's all good, brother.
Yeah, I've got to see that one for sure.
All right, it's I'll hit you in the DMs,
Yeah,
and I'll
send me
send
that.
it to you.
Yeah, send me that. I'm curious of what it looks like. Hopefully, you didn't make me look too ugly.
Oh, buddy, can't be ugly. Hey, ugly's only skin deep.
Well, I just hope you made it look like
that's
me.
That's what my wife tells me. It's when she's pulling on my third ear, telling me, you're not ugly, you're special.
Along,
All right, buddy. No, it's I fucking love your videos. I'm going to put the cancel Junkman tag on everything I post on Facebook.
Go ahead. Yes, cancel. Yes. Apparently, Larry wants to cancel the junk man.
No,
You can actually.
Larry the Wampa. I would like ask him a question.
Sorry, but I'll pass it on to him because he's.
Well,
passed
maybe
out
you can
before.
ask him. It's
Okay.
what do the 5 fingers say to the face?
5 fingers. What?
Slap.
Oh, I have to remember that because I owe him a slap. I saw he uploaded a video about me. So.
No, it's all good. All right, brother. I'll tell you what. I don't want to hog all your time. Can I just plug my YouTube channel
Oh,
real
sure.
quick?
Go ahead.
All right. This is the TS Hawkeye. What I do is I get really, really drunk and do toy reviews, and sometimes I say pretty nasty things. It's so yeah. All right, Junkman, you're my favorite. It's keep on keeping on.
Wait, before you go,
Yes.
as a G.I. Joe collector, what do G.I. Joe collectors think of the G.I. Joe Extreme figures in the 90s?
I would collect them. There was a short-lived line right after the Real American Hero line got canceled. It was a Sergeant Savage line. And I was in for that, but the Extreme, they didn't have a lot of articulation. There was no real, mythology behind it. Although Sergeant Stone got woven into the first G.I. Joe movie.
Right. So they're not hated by collectors, are they? They're just so not G.I. Joe looking.
No. Again, that's like that would be like taking Star Wars and putting them in Viking kind of gear.
Don't say that. Hasbro might hear you.
Oh, want to know what? I've seen. There's some, I think, third party companies that they put the Stormtrooper in samurai gear,
Yes.
and Darth Vader, and that's cool. As a what if.
Yeah, I've seen those. They look pretty good. But I wouldn't want an action figure line.
Well, they're a little above my price range.
Yeah.
But
they are.
it's no, I totally. I'm teasing you about not buying anything when you go on your toy hunts, but man,
I don't.
I do those too. If I'm looking for something specific, if they don't have it, then I'm gonna walk out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most
So,
9 times out of 10, they Walmart, a store like that's not gonna have anything that I want.
yeah, no. All I'm collecting right now is the Masters of the Universe Origins line
Good line.
and the Spin Master Batman line.
Oh, that's a good line too. Yeah.
Oh, do you actually buy any of that or see any
No,
of that?
I don't really buy. I've seen them, but I hadn't really bought them. But I always like, man, those look cool. If I had more room or more money, I might.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I'm in the same boat, brother. It's if I had, I could do a lot of things if I had the money. But it's no, it's I think it's an affordable line. I think I pay again Canadian about $10 a figure. It's the vehicles they're nice. It's I actually on my channel TS Hawkeye I have a drunken review of about 4 different Batmobiles. So it's check them out, subscribe. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, no, it's a good line. I appreciate it just because it's kid friendly and it's collector friendly.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I hope it goes on for a bit.
Yeah. Hope so.
But Junkman, it's I'll hit you in the DM.
Yes, do
It's,
that.
you have a great night, brother.
You too, and thanks for
it's,
calling, and maybe you'll call back
and-
next week.
Oh, buddy, this is the second week in a row. So I'll talk to you then.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Hey,
Yes.
thank you to everyone listening.
Okay.
Support the junk man. Oh, but cancel him.
Yeah, cancel the junk man. Go get you a shirt.
Cancel the junk man. I'll slap Larry J. Womp in the fucking face. All right.
Okay, thanks for calling.
All right. Have a good one.
There we go, another caller right there. 470-541-2423. Sometimes you can't get through. Russ asked me again, why is it so dark in here? I was like, well, set some move. We'll go to about 9:30. Usually we cut out a little after 9. But we had some technical difficulties, of course, at the beginning of the show. And then we had the interview with the toy. What did y'all think about a toy magazine coming back out? Ain't that crazy? Is that something y'all think y'all would get, a toy magazine? But let's see. We got another caller here. This is the Junk Man. Who's calling into the junk room?
Hello, Junk Man. This is Paul.
Hello, Paul. How's it going tonight?
It's going pretty good. Thank you.
Where are you calling from?
Well, let me just say there isn't enough life on this ice cube to fill a space cruiser.
No, I've heard that before.
That's where I'm calling from.
Okay. So, what's on your mind tonight?
Oh, 90s toys.
90s.
It's
What do you
all-
love? What do you hate?
It's
What
all
do you want to
Star Wars
say?
For me.
What's that?
It's all Star Wars for me.
Oh, Star Wars. So the 90s was Star Wars time for you.
Yeah.
I know. Actually, I bought a lot of Star Wars stuff in the 90s, not going to lie.
Yeah. And I agree with pretty much everybody else. The figures looked kind of strange, but we were super excited that we had some new Star Wars toys. So I was just buying them all.
Oh,
Tons of
yeah.
them.
I was
Tons of
buying.
them. You know, I mean,
I was buying them loose. I was buying a little on card. I was buying as many stormtroopers as I could. Bought, I don't know how many Boba Fett. And I would just buy them and buy them and buy them.
yes, exactly. Me too. Exact same thing.
Yeah. And
So,
it didn't matter if I already had it. I was like, I've got to get it. So it was a great time to be a Star Wars fan because Star Wars was kind of reborn in the 90s.
yes, I'm the exact same way. I think I ended up with, 5 Greedos and 8 Sand People. Of course, that's okay though because they're army builders. But and there are other Greedos, whatever that species is. You can see them in the background. But at the time, people are like, 5 Greedos, 6 Greedos, or 3 Greedos. Where it's like, man, I just love this stuff. I want it. I see it. I'm getting it.
Right.
So it was very exciting. And
Yeah, the ships were really
a lot of
nice to
people-
have. The ships, and they didn't really do good play sets, but the ships were always really nice back then to have too.
yes, I was finally able to get a Slave 1 when they reissued it back then for the Shadows of the Empire. I
Yes.
always wanted that as a kid. And then I was like, holy cow, I can get it now. It wasn't quite the same box, but still. it
It's
was
the same, it's same mold and everything. Painted a little different, but overall it's the same thing.
Yeah, and I still have that.
Well,
Don't
that's cool.
don't have the carded figures anymore though. I kept all the open ones.
I did the
But
same thing.
I
I
just
sold all
needed
my
to
carded
room.
ones. Yeah, I wish I kind of kept them now, but I did sell them. Didn't get
Same.
hardly nothing for them. I think I got like $100 for them. I had like 3 totes full.
Exactly, same here. I had to pay people to take them from me. I could not sell them.
Yeah.
So
Which is surprising. I've started to see some of that early 90s stuff or mid 90s stuff starting to go up in price, believe it or not.
yeah,
I mean, not crazy, but it's
kind of-
starting to hit like $10 a figure now.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm just like, oh man, what did I do? I should have kept it, or what? Because I don't sell stuff.
Yeah, you're probably
And-
better getting rid of it. Be
Yes,
honest with
I
you.
just said I had way too much stuff, and I just needed to make room.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But-
hopefully the money you did get went into a good cause, so hopefully you had some fun with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'd like to ask you a question, if I may.
Yes.
Can you one day in one of your videos show us a picture of all the broken glass on your floor from all the cards?
I try to, but Dusty's pretty fast at cleaning them up. You know, it's the cards that break. I got one right here. It's cards that are made out of glass. I don't know why I bought index cards made out of glass. I should have learned my lesson. But the glass gets in the... I got a lot of glass fibers in the carpet, though.
Yeah, I hope you're not walking around without shoes up there. It's got to be tough on the feet.
It's tough because Larry and Gangsta Chewbacca, they both don't wear shoes, and I tell them all the time.
Well, they've got those big heavy pads on the bottom of their feet.
Yeah, and they start talking about workman's comp or something. I don't know.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got anything else?
Well, you mentioned radio. Every once in a while, you mention radio personalities. So what I'm going to do is just, when I call, I'm just going to say dittos, junk man.
Dittos. I know that one. Yep, dittos.
Yeah, and so, yeah, Junkman 2028. How about that?
Sounds good.
Junkman 2028.
Yep, sounds good. Okay,
right.
man. Well, hopefully call in next week.
Thank you very much for taking my call.
Okay, thanks for calling.
You're welcome.
There we go. Another caller to 470-541-2423. My ass is starting to hurt. I know y'all probably don't care about that. I care about that. Where's Larry? Larry went on. Larry put up his own shirt, so check it out at junkmanmerch.com. He put up a shirt about me. Now let's take another call here. Let's see here. This is the Junk Man. Thanks for calling into the junk room. Who is this?
Dustin McFinkelstein.
There you go. Usually you're pretty early in the calls, and we're like, what happened to Finkelstein? He's hadn't called tonight. How's it going?
I'm hanging and banging, man. Junk man, how you is?
You always hanging and banging. You sound like Wolfman Jack.
What you said.
Well, that's
Crunker
right.
than a rooster, as I say.
I don't know what you said, but okay. Well, you sound like a man that knows his 90s toys.
Man, the 90s were a magical time. I remember babysitting my younger brother and sister, and they would watch Barney, Dinosaur.
God, that still come on. Remember how popular Barney was in the 90s?
Man, that was outrageous. There was like a girl who was 35 on there. Her name was like Tina or something.
I don't know. Maybe you watched it a little closer than I did have a daughter that went through a Barney stage. I had to go see Barney live in person. Woo.
Oh, that sounds like Chinese water torture, man. That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, and I just stopped myself from making a very naughty joke. So I'm proud of myself.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep it PG because I know you got some younger viewers in the chat tonight. So, but Barney did have I think they were like his cousins or something, and it was like Baby Bob and like DJ.
Hated Baby Bob.
Yeah.
And
she wasn't even a real dinosaur.
She was a terror. She was, I don't know. She was green. That's all I remember.
Yeah. And then my younger brother and sister, they had Mr. Bucket. You put balls in his mouth.
Oh, yes. That was the best toy to put your balls in, because you had to put your balls in and without popping out of his mouth.
Yeah, and he turned like red or something, and he said, pop the balls in my mouth.
Yeah, he said, yeah. When you get bored, put your balls in my mouth.
Oh, yeah. He was crazy back in the day, man. Mr. Bucket. Buckets of fun or something.
Yeah, I know a guy that went to high school with him. He was crazy in high school, too.
Yeah, I went to college with him for half a semester.
You know how. I need a Mr. Bucket live-action movie.
Man, I would love it, like a gritty Christopher Nolan dark Mr. Bucket movie.
Yeah, make it in the real life. You know, he's strung out, downtown, putting balls in his mouth for money.
Yeah, like a Nirvana on the soundtrack. Like something. And
you have to get some
Mr.
90s
Bucket.
song. You get some 90s song and some chick to sing it really slow. Get like a fast song for the 90s. They like to do that, so it's more dramatic and, you know, show them down and out.
Yeah, you got to get a pop song from like the 90s, but have like a teenage girl who's depressed sing it.
Yeah.
Be like Ace of Base, I Saw the Sign.
Yeah, and just no music behind it, and so Mr. Bucket back there with his, with his crack pipe and everything. Okay, now you. Oh, if I had the budget and the talent, I could make a great skit right now.
Man, I tell you what, I'd be director of photography on the Mr. Bucket live action movie.
I want that. I at least want a trailer. I need a Mr. Bucket trailer.
He'd drive his car through the hotel lobby, get out, and ask where the prostitutes were.
He was the Tony Clifton of games.
Oh, without question. Then he could go, "Where's your balls?"
Put them in my mouth.
Put them in my mouth. Your balls.
See how many I can get. Okay, I better stop.
Oh my goodness.
It could get really bad really fast.
Yeah, it could. The best, I would say though, Junkman, the best 90s toy was the Dick Tracy movie.
He just fucking with me.
No. I'm being for real.
It was in my videos of the worst movie toy lines ever.
No, the best one. Now hear me out. They had a bum, and he was the bum action figure. I think they called him the Tramp or something.
Yeah.
He had the best scene in the movie because he was eating a chicken at the beginning.
I've never seen the movie, and I'll take your word for it.
Man, the figure here. Now hear me out. They were in scale with the Ninja Turtles.
Yes, yeah, they were.
And
short
the bum from Dick Tracy is a fashion icon for all ages.
Oh,
So
okay.
when you was playing with the Ninja Turtles, you had a bum who could get into a knife fight with your Ninja Turtles and try to sell them like heroin and stuff.
You also would have a Madonna.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, okay. Well, if you're playing with them with other toys, I might give you that. But if you're just laying at home on your floor as a kid playing Dick Tracy,
no, I don't even play on the floor with my Dick Tracy now.
Well, that's good. That's good. Okay, well, you got anything else before you get me in trouble?
No, that'd be all I got to say, Junkman. You are hilarious. You are the comedy gold of YouTube. Larry J. Wampa, he's wrong for that. I'm gonna have to buy one of those shirts though.
Yeah, I got myself one also. I figure I'm going to a convention probably at the end of the month. I was like, what a better shirt to wear to a convention.
Man, I'm gonna get me one, and I'm gonna wear it when I finally visit Graceland, and I'm gonna take a picture.
There you go. Okay, well, call next week. I'm sure you will.
Oh, you know it.
Okay, talk to you later.
All right, good.
There's another caller. I see the 757 Hustle Show. I told him earlier today I see him in the chat sometime because I always think it's the Heinz 57 show, and I think this guy has a whole podcast or YouTube channel about Heinz 57 sauce, but apparently it's not there. But yeah, almost get carried. It's easy to get carried away, and I'm sure there's some people that watch my live streams or my videos hoping to chop that little joke out so they can say, "Hey, look, Junkman's a racist. He's a phobe. He's some kind of phobic. He's a rapnophobic. Oh, Junkman's a rapnophobic," or something. Because, people trying to get the Junkman. Cancel Junkman. Use that hashtag. Cancel that Junkman. We'll go ahead and cancel the Junkman before they have a chance to cancel the Junkman. 470-541-2423. We got about another 15 minutes to take some calls. And we got one right now we're going to take. This is the Junkman. Thanks for calling the Junk Room. Who is this?
Hey, this is Felix. What's up, Junkman?
Hello, Felix. Man, you got a good phone. You're probably one of the best calls I've heard.
Well, you can hear me really good?
Yeah, it's like Chris. So how's it going?
All right. I'm all right. How you doing?
Doing good. What you call? What's on your mind tonight?
So, I grew up in the 90s mostly. I was like a little kid in the 90s. And I disagree with your first caller. I don't think it was the dark age of action figures. I think it was just kind of...
No, it was a great time.
You needed to know where to look.
No, it was great... I love the 90s when it comes to action figures.
Yeah, we can talk all day about the Star Wars action figures.
Hey, they were what they were. We were all happy to have them. Honestly, I would put the 90s against the 80s. The 80s had good stuff. You just had so much more in the 90s.
Yeah, it's right, the Power of the Force stuff. But it's weird looking back because I don't remember looking at him and thinking like, wow, why is Luke so buff? But I look at him now, I'm like, yeah, those don't really look all that great.
Even I was, I was in my 20s, and we made fun of it later. And I remember when it first came out, nobody really complained about it.
Yeah.
But so you played with them as a kid?
Oh yeah, I loved them.
Oh, that's cool to know some kids actually played with them.
Oh yeah, I played with them like crazy. I got the Stormtroopers and the. I even had that one. I think you did that video on like the worst play sets in the '90s, and I had that one that had just like the door and then like the couple of.
It was just a hallway.
Bumps or whatever.
Yeah, it was just a hallway. I think it had a big gun on it. I think that was it.
Yeah, it was really dumb, but I just, when you're a kid and you have that imagination, man, it was like great.
Right, yeah. They did some good ships, good figures. They've always been kind of slacking on the play sets.
Yeah. But one of the things I think that really blossomed, and you said it, I think, earlier in the stream, was superheroes were really
it was a great
mainstream
time.
as action figures.
If you're into comics and superheroes, the 90s was probably, you had obscure X-Men, X-Force, some figures you never thought you'd see.
Right. Well, there was the superhero animated shows.
Yeah,
of
those
the 90s
also.
Those translated really great to action figures. Like you had the Superman animated show, which I loved, and the Batman animated show I loved, and X-Men too.
Those Batman animated series figures were awesome.
They were. They looked great. I had this one Superman one where you would it was basically this plastic cover you put over Superman to make him Clark Kent, so he could rip it off and become Superman.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was really cool. I love that one.
That was pretty cool. It's always cool to have a transforming type figure like that when you're a
Right.
kid. Because it's like you get two in one.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He's kind of a weirdly in this weird big buff position Clark Kent.
Yeah.
But still,
Man, they did an Anakin in the 2000s where you pushed his head down and you put the Darth Vader top on him. It was just weird. The head went into his chest.
Yeah, I remember there was a Vader this is 2000s, not to get off subject of the 90s.
We don't stick to topic.
There was there was this Vader creation kit thing where you could put his limbs on, and I remember if you took his left glove off, there was his robotic hand. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. I remember they had the wires in his hand.
Yeah.
And I
So you
his
could just
helmet,
take his
you could see
limbs
through
off.
it. If that's the same one, you could see through his helmet.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. But it always comes back to Star Wars.
Yep, Star Wars.
But yeah, no, 90s figures and 90s also, I think, started showing the burgeoning of video game action figures.
Yeah, probably so. Because I don't think I can't think of any in the 80s unless you count the Mario movie, but that's more of a movie. So,
I guess, yeah. But I remember when I was a kid in the 90s, it was probably 96, 97 or something. I remember seeing a Lara Croft action figure in one of the stores. And I didn't play. I was too young to play Tomb Raider at the time, but I was like, whoa, that's cool. They got a girl with guns.
Yeah. They did a lot of risque type action figures in the 90s, too. They wouldn't have done these. The big boobs and the guns.
Right.
McFarlane did a lot of that, too.
Well, McFarlane, yeah.
That you would never get.
McFarlane definitely. Yeah, the really nice sculpted figures came into play in the 90s. So, I don't know. It was a pretty good pretty good decade for action figures, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Okay, well, I'm going to get a few more calls. You got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay, we'll call in next week.
I know you got to go soon. All right, man. See you.
Thanks. Well, that's another call. Somebody mentioned, what did they mention? I lost it. Jim Lee's Wildcats. Hey, here's some advice. If you ever get famous in a comic book, put your name in front of it so I'll be able to say your name, like Wildcats. Jim Lee, I don't know who Jim Lee is, but I remember those figures. They were kind of cool and neat. We've got another call, though. Thank you for calling the junk room. Who is this?
Hey, junk man. This is Benjamin Martin.
Benjamin Martin. Where are you calling from, Benjamin?
Hey, New York City.
New York City.
New
Man.
York City. Yes, you bet.
How about I sound country to you?
So actually, I just wanted to make a comment that kind of builds on the big controversy about the super buff '90s figures, and they coming out and people looking back and being like, how could you have accepted that variation and deviation? And it made me think, actually, like, it wasn't necessarily some big deviation because there wasn't a norm set. There wasn't, all these series of figures that, it's like have this standardized reality to them. And a good example at the time is like the original Super Mario Brothers games. Like the first Super Mario Brothers games, like this, the side scroller with you're either Mario or Luigi, and
Right.
it had this sort of normalized aesthetic and mechanics. And then Super Mario Brothers 2, you could be Peach and Toad, and you could dig up turnips and things. And because there wasn't, there weren't further versions that were the same as the first one, people just said, oh, maybe each one's different. And they didn't hold it to that standard. So I think, that could be considered with the Power of the Force 2 figures as well.
Yeah,
Where
that makes sense. That makes sense. And like I said, we didn't really have any Star Wars stuff, so we were just happy to have them. I don't remember people complaining that much back then.
Yeah, right. I mean, that was the figure of the day, the style. I mean, this is much of a stylistic choice. It's kind of the very like stripped down interpretations of the the original Kenner ones. Think about it. They could have made them, all buff then, but that wasn't sort of the style that was going and what was concurrent.
Yeah, and that buff line really didn't last that long. 97, I think they sized them back down. It was like two series, maybe 3 series, and then they sized them down.
Yeah, it's funny. It seemed to me like the character lineup sort of like moved further away from just like the kind of more standard humans. And so it seemed like that, the buffness went away, but I think it sort of worked in tandem, right? Where it was like more droids and things. They did kind of make C-3PO look buff feeling, but it wasn't exactly buff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was bad, they did them buff, but they kept the same molds for the ships, so it was really hard to get them in the land speeder or the Falcon. You wouldn't hardly fit.
Yeah, I mean, I had that Han that came with that crazy backpack contraption grabber fucking thing.
Yeah.
That was the Han that I had. I didn't have a Falcon, or else I would have been pissed back in the day.
The deluxe.
Well, I'm going to keep it too long. Well, thanks, Junk, man. I appreciate your stuff. I've sent you some emails over like the last years, and I usually try to comment occasionally. So
okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, man. Take care.
Okay, call back.
All right, well, bye-bye.
Thanks. That is another call. We'll take at least 2 more calls, and then I think I got enough for an hour for the podcast. Don't forget, Sunday nights, the podcast goes up. That's right, Sunday nights, the podcast goes up. If you hadn't checked it out, check out the Action Figure Show podcast. That's where you get to hear this edited down to about an hour. All this here, me waiting for calls, is worked out. So it's a lot of fun. So I'm really trying to grow that. I think it's a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys are having fun also. But this is the Junk Man. Thanks for calling the Junk Room. Who is this?
This is Sith Critic. How you doing, Junk
Sith
Man?
Critic. There we go. That's a name I know. I saw you in the chat. How's it going?
Oh, you're hanging out in the chat, hanging out, talking to you live, all good. So about the Power of the Force 90s molds, I'll just say this, that when they came out, my reaction was, wow, they made the characters like the movie poster. Remember the original 77 movie poster when Luke was super buff?
Yes. Yeah. This kind of did. Yeah, it kind of fits the Luke.
So that was sort of my rationale as to why it looked like that. I'm sure that maybe wasn't the legitimate reason, but for whatever reason, that was what I chalked it up to. So that was fine for me. But I will say that 80s toys can go toe to toe with 90s toys any day. I don't know. I think
they're different, but I mean the 90s wasn't bad, but the 80s were good too.
Well, what I'll give the 90s toys was definitely they were a lot more riskier in terms of like the toys that they would make, and I always found them very cool were the Alien line.
Oh,
the Alien line of toys you get all cool like gory like horror characters like Freddy Krueger. You'd never get that stuff in the 80s, but in the 90s they would do that, and I think that's probably more of a reaction to the collector market as it is to trying to appeal to kids.
Yeah, definitely.
But they
definitely.
were still. So that's the one thing I'll give the 90s up over the 80s toys.
Yeah.
And actually, but the reason I wanted to call was actually to go a little off topic, and to ask you about something that I don't see talked about a lot, and that is price tags. And price tags as in, do you remember in the early days of collecting when you get a something in the box or on the card and you have a price tag, and there was all these, techniques to try and remove the price tag and, to get it clean and have your carded or boxed item perfect without like any blemish or any price tag. Back in the day, a price tag was like a blemish. But now when I look at stuff from that era, I like the price tags. I like to look at to see where it came from, what store, and how much it cost at the time. It gives a sort of historical reference to it that I think is kind of neat. But kind of regret, a lot of toy collectors going through that phase when we all got our gaslighter fluid to try and chip away at them and rub them off. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember, especially the Toys R Us sticker was so big. But I like the vintage stuff, seeing the prices on it, the 70s and 80s, 90s. Maybe because I was older, I don't really care about it on there as much. But it don't bother me if it's on it. But in the 90s, I would peel them off until I started messing up stuff, and it's just too much work, so I ended up just leaving them off.
It's a lot of work, and it's a huge risk, right? Like, it's nothing scarier than bringing some water to your an old carded figure, and you don't want to damage it, right? But you, at the same time, back in the day, the value would be worth more if it didn't have a price tag.
Right.
I think back in the day, it was a nominal difference, but still, to us collectors, are like, hey, if it's worth $10 or $15 more without a price tag, that'd be great.
And especially where that price tag was, because it was like, I remember the Robin Hood. I was collecting the Robin Hood figures, and the card had a big picture like Kevin Costner on it, and there's a price tag right on his face. That's you don't even want to display it. You're like, I got to move that.
That does reduce the value. But I actually, the 90s, I think it was 1991 when those Kenner Robin Hood figures came on. I did collect those.
So I wasn't the only one.
Those were a cool line. Yeah. I mean, they were basically like Star Wars, light. They were basically like the Gamorrean Guard was Friar Tuck, and the Ewok Village became their little
right
village, or whatever it was called. Yeah.
A lot of superpowers parts also.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In fact, if you take off, I think it's Robin Hood. If you take off his clothes, his cloak, and everything, you can see a G on his belt because he was the Green Lantern body.
Wow! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I left my toys clothed. Sorry, junk man.
Well, that's okay. Well, I did a video on it, so anybody listening wants to check it out.
All right, cool.
Well, okay. You got anything else?
No, that's it. Just wanted to pick your brain on the price tag fascination. I know there's not a lot of people that talk about that what we went through back in the time. The trial and tribulations of trying to get that price tag perfectly removed. Because if you only did it halfway, you kind of ruined it. And now it's kind of funny that there's a certain provenance when you actually have it intact, and you can look at the historical stuff from back in the vintage days of how much stuff cost. So.
I used to kill me. I used to put them on the bubble. I can get them off easier.
That's true. But they never would.
No. And that Walmart sticker was just ugly.
I didn't have a Walmart back then.
Oh, you didn't? It was green and square. Well, I think it's the same thing they use now, if it's got a price on it now.
We had the KBs, a lot of KB stickers.
No, them were hard to get. Them were made to rip if somebody tried to take them off. So they were.
Yeah, they were made to dry instantly. They just would not. They were permanent. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for calling.
All right. Have a good week. Talk to you later.
Okay. Let's take one more call to 470-541-2423 because I've got to make a noon video. I know a video comes up at noon, but I make it the night before. So what am I going to make a noon video on? Good question. I don't know yet. Because I'm going to get me some food after this. But let's take one more call for us. There we go, the last call of the night. Let's get ready to hit some buttons here. This is Junkman. You're the last call of the night. Who is this?
Hello?
Turn your computer or whatever you're watching me down. Who
Hello,
is this?
Junkman.
Hello, who is this?
Alexis?
Alexis.
What's up, Junkman?
How's it going?
Great. Just watching pro wrestling Wednesday again.
Oh, yeah. You're the one that always complaining why I do it on Wednesday night?
No, I don't mind it.
Okay. If somebody's saying, I want to watch wrestling, I can't get time to.
I usually just wait for the audio version and I watch that during work.
That's good. That's what the podcast is for, too. You can listen to the podcast.
Love the theme song, Jojo Moroder, The Chase.
You know the name. That's surprising. Most people don't know the name of it.
Yeah.
They just call it the Art Bell theme, which I stole from Art Bell's radio
Yeah.
show, and I need my own theme. So, but I do like hearing that.
I was born later in the 90s, 98, but I'm surprised no one talked about the WWF action figures and the WCW action figures
Yeah,
from the 90s.
No one's brought them up, and they did a lot of wrestling. That's really about where the wrestling figures took off. I mean, they did some in the 80s, but the 90s is really when they really, took off.
Especially 90s Hot Wheels with the Hot Wheel tracks and accessories.
Hot Wheels. I never got into Hot Wheels, but I remember trying to track down those treasure hunts in the 90 cars. Whew,
Yeah.
never could find one.
Yeah. Yeah, still collect, yeah.
You collect Hot Wheels now?
I still do. Still do.
Yeah, I get, if they're movie or TV themed lately, I've been getting into those. But, I mean, hey,
Yeah.
Hot Wheel cars are like 99 cents. That's a good thing to collect.
Yeah, but they're hard to find now because of the pandemic. They've been harder to find.
Is that what I noticed? The last couple of the stores are empty on Hot Wheel cars. Bad, like nothing.
Because usually they'll be stocked.
Yeah,
It's
they're pretty good stock, but there's just like pegs are completely empty.
Yeah. And also 90s had classic Lego sets.
Oh.
Like Ninjas.
Yeah,
Knights.
back before it was all movie themed TV. Now it's all theme stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of back when they were yellow.
Yeah.
But that was some good stuff. So you grew up in the 90s? You were a little kid in the 90s?
Not really 98.
Oh, so
Mostly
you're
2000.
okay. So your 2000s is mostly your era.
Yeah, but I do like some of that stuff.
What was the big toy action figure line in the 2000s that you liked?
Hot Wheels, those early 2000 Star Wars, and
Yeah.
the wrestling toys. They improved a lot in the 2000s.
Yeah, wrestling really did good in the 2000s. See, I was more into the collector side of it then, so I don't really know what kids liked. That's cool.
Well, I don't get that people think 90s Star Wars figures should be worth a lot of money when they're not. I'm like, the most you should pay is like $5 and below for those 90 Powers of Force, not above 10 or 15 in comic shops. It don't make sense.
No, I mean, they're not. People bought so many of them in the 90s, they bought them to save them. So they're not really
Yeah,
worth
the
anything.
market is saturated.
Yeah, it's not like in the 70s and 80s when we bought Star Wars. We threw them away. People bought 2 or 3 of them. I know I did. Bought one, opened it, bought another one, left it closed, bought another one so I could trade it later. Yeah, so they're not really. Like I said, I've seen them go on eBay going a little higher than like $10, $15. I'm like, why?
Yeah. I guess that's all for me tonight, Junkman.
Okay, well, I appreciate you calling. Call back next week.
All right, take care.
Thank you for calling. Well, can you believe that was a satisfied? At least I hope he was a satisfied caller. I don't know. I said he was, but maybe he wasn't. But that's the last call of the night. Went a little long, but we had the toy collector, without the O, the last O. So just to remind you of that. But that's it. It's a lot of fun there. Now, what's going to confuse me is that I've been at 39 viewers all night. Now, when I go check the feed, it's going to say I had like 100 or something. I don't understand that. But we got Machine Man. We got Spoonie Lee. Junkman's his hero. Well, he's not going to buy a Cancel Junkman shirt. We got Broken Cigarette. I like that name. That's a good. I don't smoke. I like that name. We got William Wilkinson. We've got the Sith Critic who called into the show. We got Dustin. We got Heinz 57 show. Oh, excuse me, 757 show. Said he tried to call in, he couldn't call in. We did have a lot of calls. We didn't have any gaps in between calls. But I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go eat. Then I'm gonna make my noon video for tomorrow. Then we'll be back tomorrow at noon. And this weekend, me and Russ return. We missed it because of Vegas, so me and Russ are back this weekend. Saturday night live. We're gonna do Saturday Night Live by 8, probably 8 o'clock. You know, we usually go about 4 or 5 hours. We have a lot of fun. If you haven't checked out me and Russ live stream, please check us out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think that's it, guys. Oh, somebody wants us this.
So?
Send that out to William. Hey, let's do this. Hold on.
So?
Okay, I'm just having fun. Anyway, we will see you tomorrow for 2 more videos. And then this weekend live. I think that's it, guys.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Game over is right. Thanks for watching and thanks for calling in. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Goodbye.